And we're back with the semifinals of the Kutztown Overwatch Collegiate Invitational. Once again, my name's Connor. I'm joined here by my co-host Madison. Let's talk about this upcoming match here.
There's going to be a lot of expectations coming up here. Drexel A did very well in their match, as did Westchester. Both teams had very dominant showings with their compositions, so pitting them against each other is going to be a real treat.
Right, and decidedly, we might see, if Drexel A does well and Drexel B does well, they're both still in the bracket, we could see an all-Drexel Grand Finals. I think that would be funny. I'm sure that they're all, very familiar with how each other play, and so we'll probably see a bunch of memes. Westchester here had a pretty strong showing against KUB earlier, but I'd love to see how they're going to translate that against Drexel A. Drexel A had a very strong dive comp. They've got like a stack of 3 players that are on dive. We've got the Ball, we've got the Farah, we've got the Tracer, and then they have their backline 3 that kind of sit in the back and hold their team. So what are you looking for Westchester to do to try to counter that kind of dive comp?
I think we're going to need to see some sort of stun meta. We're going to need to see like a Brig, or we're going to need to see Cassidy pulling out those flashes and saving them for Ball or whoever's going to come and flank right into their team.
Right. If they could leverage a Sombra, that might be very useful, right? You hack the Ball, he's useless. You hack the Farah, she's just a ground Junkrat now. You hack the Mercy, that's with the Farah. She's caught out, she can't fly anymore. There's a couple things you could do with that, but the issue is you can't get in as easily. Your team will struggle to get in because they won't have that protection. So let's see exactly what they're going to do here. We're about to jump into our first semifinal game, Drexel A versus Westchester. Looks like they are starting the game pretty soon here. Just setting up a couple more things. Production staff is doing an amazing job today. I'm so impressed with everything that's been going on. So let's hope we can pull it out strong for the rest of these games. We do only have 3 left. Only 3 games counting this one. So we've got our 2 semifinal matches. We've got Drexel A versus Westchester. Our next semifinal match is Drexel B versus Widener, who just beat DeSales. And then the winner of those 2 matches will meet in the grand finals.
It's going to be a very interesting showing here. Now, Intel is telling me that we are once again going to Lijiang Tower. Don't know why we're not switching that up, but not my decision. Let's play a game. Do you think we'll see Symmetra again? Like, can we like have a little tick on the paper, figure out how many times Symmetra's been?
I wish we had it on the back wall because it would be painted a new color if we had done tallies for that. I have a feeling we're going to see 0 Symmetras, actually. It looks like we are switching from Lijiang to Oasis here.
Oh, good.
This will force these teams into a map they haven't played today, a map they haven't seen today, which is another thing that can happen at LAN. But we're about to get into it. I'm excited to see what Westchester pulls out here to counter the Farah dive that Drexel holds on to so much. I mean, honestly, Drexel A, if it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so I think that that's what they're trying to go for here. What do you think Drexel's going to have to do to keep their Farah safe, to keep their backline safe?
Well, I know they're already going to run the Mercy because that's what they've been running all day. But in terms of backline, you're going to need a tank to stick with your backline and just keep them safe, and so that they can immediately call out if the healer, say Zenyatta is in the backline and he's getting called out, he needs a tank to be able to immediately turn back and help him.
Right, they do have that Zen. CB is the only non-mobile character on the side of Drexel A. If Westchester's able to leverage something on that less mobile character, like a Farah mirror, which is what we're going to be seeing today, they could work out for them. Let's see how this first fight goes.
We see no teams directly attacking the point, instead choosing to go opposite directions until they clash with each other. No one going on the point yet. Farah's just peppering damage against each other. It's a complete mirror as far as we're concerned here. And we see the power boosting coming out, not getting too much done. And we see them start to rotate towards the point now that it's unlocked. We see Westchester just immediately storm the point and say, no, you cannot come on. And they pretty much cap it immediately with no contest.
CB with the opening pick of the whole set here, setting the tone for supports and how they need to damage. This is a great way to force down a Mercy here. Skip's kind of caught out, but he might get out with his health pack, and CB is right there to finish him off.
We see such a dominant showing at first capping the point, and then that one pick goes off from CB, and everything just turns red in the kill feed. Really a dominant choice here. He already has ultimate as well, while the other team doesn't even really have anything online yet.
That is incredible. I actually didn't notice that. CB already has that Transcendence online. There's no offensive ults that right now that he would even need to save them for. So I could see him playing super hyper aggressive and using it to get out. He could also save it for that high noon, for that shatter, for that barrage. I mean, you name it. I mean, Transcendence is a very flexible defensive ultimate, and there's no Anas on either side to negate all that healing. Optimal Shot trying to take Page out, doesn't work out. Jeff Goldblum will finish him off. A big ult from Optimal Shot here, cleaning up both these 200 health characters on Westchester, and there goes another 20% for Drexel A. I mean, that first fight, we saw Drexel lose 18% on the point, and it's because their objective isn't to take the point immediately, right? They want to make sure that they win the fight, and so what they did was they got ready for them to be in a good position, and then they struck, and they took the point after. And so Westchester might be using that 18% as good morale, though. There's that Sombra pick from Westchester.
I was just going to say, we have a switch onto the Sombra now, hopefully to interrupt some things and get them to stop moving around. We see Westchester come and start going on the point. We get a hack onto the Optimal Shot just to completely negate him, and we see an ultimate go out, and he goes down immediately.
Zodi HD taking advantage of that counter pick there and taking Optimal Shot out of the game early, but Drexel able to get a res off in time and hold off for Westchester to stop them from getting to that point. Again, I mean, it's the fair mercy show here. CB's putting a Discord orb on someone and saying, oh, you are the one who's going to be respawning soon, and his team will just take him out super quickly. We've got stall from 2 players here on Westchester. They didn't stagger them very well, and I think that might bite them in the butt if they need that extra couple seconds. Darling, the last player here to try to touch, and will get deleted.
A complete dominant showing from Drexel A once again, as Westchester does cap the point for a short amount of time, but has nothing to show for it once it flip-flops red. We're going to see a round 1 complete here. What comp changes do you think we're going to see? Because we did see some during the game, but there might be an overhaul here.
There is a weakness to this Drexel comp here, and it's their Zenyatta. He's the least mobile character in the game, and if Westchester plays full dive and they move around corners efficiently and they don't take damage before a team fight starts, that's what Optimal Shot wants to do, is he wants to put so much damage downrange before a fight starts that Westchester starts a fight at half health. If Westchester can play dive, if they can get in there real quick and take down that Zenyatta, he is the key here to winning. So let's see what they do.
We've got pretty much the same team comp, except Optimal Shot is now on the Sombra, and we have a Pharmacy on the other side. So it kind of pretty much everyone rotated 1 seed to the left and switched their heroes out from team to team. We see Westchester immediately going to capture the point and then rotate to high ground to meet Drexel, and Drexel gets a pick on the Mercy, which is going to stop them right in their tracks as they start to immediately back up, throw ammo on the field, and it's just a bloodbath from Hitscan Hero as he completely dominates as he's known to do.
A 4-man slam there from the main tank on Drexel A, Volgar. He's doing an excellent job enabling the rest of his team to deal damage. He'll hit someone and they'll go up above that Reinhardt shield, and now there's 3 or 4 players who are ready to shoot at him. I do love the support lineup here for Drexel. It's you know, you switch off the Pharah, you say, okay, well maybe we don't want maybe we want more protection from Zen here. Well, what's the counter of Zen? It's dive. Well, we want to counter that counter, and we're gonna play Brig. And I think that's a great decision, but you do have to lose the Pharah. So they decided to pick up the Sombra. They're trying to hack a tank target here. They're trying to pick somebody out early here so that the rest of their damage can pile in on them. But we will see a mirrored Sombra on both sides, which is awesome.
We see the swap to the Sombra, and now people are just going ham at each other, not even talking about the point. Immo goes down once again and immediately gets taken out. And we see Torbjorn firing shots. A pulse bomb goes off and sticks right on a plasma. Hitscan Hero once again doing what he knows best. And now they're looking to move everyone away from the point as they start just peppering everything with damage, and the kill feed turns red once again.
Yeah, Grandly helping his team out there. He did not use Rally there. He saw he didn't have to use it. His team was fine. And now look, they've got 5 ultimates ready. And an ultimate that can be charged pretty quickly in words of that Tracer ult. So they're going to have so much defense here that I could blink right now and I could open my eyes and Drexel could have 3 ultimates instead of 6, and they're going to have 99%. So honestly, I'm looking not even to win this fight for Westchester. I'm looking to get these ultimates out of Drexel.
It looks like a very much make sure they press Q before we do fight to kind of drip things out and get things started. We see the Shatter go down from the other team. Window goes down, hack, bomb, just pretty much anything in the utility kit just going down. And we can see a double kill from Jeff Goldblum. Everything coming in red, and they hit Q first, folks, and that's going to be pretty much it for the point, as there's no way for anyone to touch.
Not a single player, Drexel, even going low enough to make it scary. I mean, that's why we have those support defensive ultimates. They're able to keep them up. And Drexel A taking, again, a decisive win on that first Koth map. This is going to be difficult for Westchester to be able to come back from something like this.
It's a very interesting showing that we've been seeing today, in that when Drexler A first played, people were not switching comps to immediately attack their problems. And now we see Westchester doing that, right. So they're at least in the mindset of, okay, here's what we need to do, and here's how we'll fix it. Hasn't worked yet, but they are getting picks here and there, so they're starting to fine-tune what they can do, so they may be able to pull one up this next map.
Yeah, you're right. I think they are definitely fine-tuning what they're trying to do. Westchester, I mean, they're in the semifinals, right? They won their first game. The better teams adapt better. So Drexel saw that Westchester was adapting, and they adapted themselves. Mm-hmm. They switched to a comp that was safer for their Zenyatta. They switched off of the Pharah because they figured, well, maybe Westchester's going to throw everything they have at our Pharah. Maybe they're going to throw everything they have at our Zenyatta. And so what Drexel did is they said, well, we're not going to let them do either of those, and we're going to protect the Zenyatta, and we're going to get rid of the Pharah. So going into map 2 here, Westchester on their back foot. They need to pick a map that will get them a win. Mm-hmm. And we're going into a hybrid map here, right? We've got our Blizzard World, we've got Kings Row. What are you looking to see here from Westchester?
I want to see them go back to what they're comfortable with. Like, they know that they can flex if they need to, but if they can pick a map that they know they can win with a comp they know they can win with, they may be able to just outman power whatever Drexler has planned.
All right. Yeah, this is the turning point for the match, right? Mm-hmm. Drexel came out strong. Drexel's going to keep coming out strong unless Westchester says something about it. And what they have to do, I'm not sure. I'm not on Westchester's team. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is the one thing that they can't let happen is they can't let their morale sink. Right now, they got to semifinals. You know, they're better than half the teams here according to the bracket, and they have to realize that's the case, and they have to push through the bad first game that they had. They got to reset. They have to have a mental reset, and they have to pick a map that will favor the characters that they have.
See Kings Row again. Here
we go, the Kings Row. We saw optimal shot on the Pharah on Kings Row previously. We saw the dive comp from Drexel. Westchester on Kings Row tend to focus more on the Hanzo, more on the Junkrat. I think on defense here, this is going to be difficult if they don't have anything to deal with these flying characters, with these dive characters. They have some things that can do that, right? They have the Baptiste, they have the McCree. Both are good at stopping flankers and keeping them from coming back. That's the big thing. We have a Mei swap here from Drexel A. Grim getting a good angle and keeping his head covered with that shield. We've swapped to the Baptiste as well. We're playing a slower comp, right? We're playing a brawl comp, but we have so much health. So Westchester's going to have to do a lot of damage here if they want anything to happen.
We see a lot of damage coming out onto the point as Drexel just starts to fold in on it. Immo goes out from the other side. We see an even amount of players on each side of the team. However, Drexel is starting to pull up the win as Westchester backs up and lets them take at least 2 ticks so far. If they don't rush up now, it's not going to happen, and it looks like they're not going to contest, and pretty much immediately gets point A.
Yeah, that's 5 minutes and 50 seconds left on that timer after capturing point A. Drexel not wasting any time pushing up here. They're a little bit scared to push up on this corner here. I think that space is free for them right now. Even if they're down a player on cart, they can still kite the enemy team back because they do have that Lucio. Now the only worry is if they don't have amp and Westchester has amp, they're going to get caught out really quickly. So that may have been what they were trying to avoid. This is a great corner to stand on for Westchester, but they got to push up here, and they do. Grim saying, you know, follow me. Let's get down to this corner. We're not going to let them take all this space. Bap window. Hitscan Hero gets caught out, and that might be enough to push through here. A great wall placement there from Optimal Shot. Might catch Grim out here, but it looks like Westchester committing to using only like one or two ultimates here. Drexel gets the grab out, and it's just enough. That was probably the messiest fight we've had so far.
Just complete, like, dominant showing of knowing when to hold and not hold ultimates on the side of Drexel. So in result of that, they still have the Cassidy ult, they're on their way to beat, and they're using the ultimates that they can quickly build back up. So that'll allow them to keep their ult bank in check and make sure that they're moving as fast as they're moving right now.
Right, yeah, I mean, Grandly is a big part in that right now. He's gonna, you know, be speed boosting his characters around that don't have that speed. Skip the same thing for Westchester, right? He's the enabler. That was an incredible headshot by Zodi HD on a very valuable character who was about to get a beat for his team.
You see a Blizzard go out, and Drexel just completely wipes to at least get pushed up to that next checkpoint. They still have 5.5 minutes to push it all the way to the end. We also see Drexel now very comfortable starting to push up awfully far, hitting pot shots just to try and warn them about staying back. And it seems to be working as Westchester is not exactly pushing up, but staying near their spawn doors.
Jeff Goldblum on Drexel team already has another grab from second point. And we've had some quick team fights since then. So impressive ult economy there on the side of Drexel. That's a lot of ultimates pretty quickly here. We're gonna see some people in the kill feed in a second here. A May blocking the Earth Shatter there, extremely unlucky for Grim. Reman there from Vulgar pushing up, cleaning them up, and his own May wall blocking him. Jody HD getting one on the way out. That might be enough for these stall characters to come in.
We're going to see some swaps onto faster characters or characters who can easily stall as Westchester scrambles to try and at least get something done. A Blizzard goes out on the point as well as Immo, and we see Wrecking Ball just a completely dominating. Really good pick. Oh, and he gets pinned and immediately taken out, and bam! Just like that, we are already done with the first round of King's Row. It's been like, what, 3 minutes?
It's been about 3 minutes. I mean, if you took a look at the clock there before we switched over, we were 1 second away from having 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the bank, and that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time for a map like this, especially it's a long map. You know, payload maps. After you get that first point, payload can stall. One player on the enemy team can prevent that payload from moving, and Drexel kept it rolling. They did have a shaky team fight there on the second point, but Westchester looks like they've got to pull all the stops here, or their bracket run is over. And they're struggling to keep themselves afloat right now. We
saw Drexel was very strong in both staying away from the cart when they needed to and going back when they realized that their healers were either getting picked by somebody who had come around or just knowing like, oh, we don't need to push all the way up here. We have time to move back. And that really is what helped them charge so quickly, because Westchester was not folding in on them, so they were just getting so much extra ground so that if they needed to, they could easily back up, and that's really what got them the win.
Right, yeah. Great discipline from Drexel. Westchester showing a little bit of that after they captured first point, but on their attack. But Westchester here trying to get the first point here. We're going to see a high ground hold. Who goes to touch point here if Westchester gets on?
My guess is that either the pharmacy will rotate to the side, or a couple of the tanks who aren't attached to their shield, like Orisa, is going to just plant themselves on the point because they have the most health, and that way they'll be able to start moving. We see everybody starting to fold basically right onto the point. Westchester doing exactly what they need to do in peppering damage. We also see a rotate all the way to the side just to try and get something done. Immo goes out in the field, but immediately gets canceled for both teams, and the kill feed goes red and blue in even circles. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of soft reset here as we try to get the teams together to get at least something going on the point. Oh, and Farah gets picked out.
Wow, that was a really good stall there. Unfortunate for Paige, she got air shot there by optimal shot, but Drexel had a super nice long fight there. They drug it out a little while, but that honestly, when I saw Grim charge in there at the very beginning, I knew it was over because he got picked out. There's so many resources that went to him, like his BAP, Immortality, Mercy flew over, but as soon as you see that, you know that a fight is practically over because Drexel has the damage and the value that they can utilize against a Reinhardt charging in like that. And you just can't sustain with your supports. You can't sustain your other characters after you have to use all those cooldowns. And, you know, we have to see a quick, decisive move here from Westchester, finally switching off of that Reinhardt. I think it was holding them back a little bit. We did see Westchester do this in their earlier set, and it did work for them.
Switching off that Ryan is going to allow them to really get up into that area if they can keep the Winston up. If they can't keep him up, then it's pretty much futile, just like how that happened. Optimal shot living up to his name, getting all of the damage he needs down onto the team. We also get a Sigma lift, which might not have been necessary at this point, but it does send them packing and sending that message, and you're not getting out of that gate.
Pagemo just trying to get out here and gets booped back in and pulled, and the damage is still coming. Could get shot here. Hit Scan Hero just misses that one shot. That would have been an extra 10 seconds in the respawn room for Westchester. Westchester is grasping at straws right now. And Paige swaps real quick. The classic Surfer on King's Row getting 2 kills from spawn. It's a shooting day at the range for Pagemo from Westchester.
It's that classic attacker's mindset. If you can fix it because you have more time, and it completely works this time. Paige flipping back onto that Widow really helps them secure the point, and they have a couple bodies just being thrown on, but it's sheer manpower on the side of Westchester that is going to get them the win in the end. Optimal shot coming back from spawn, maybe able to work some magic here. However, now that they're aware of his presence, they're going to try to pick him out pretty quickly.
Westchester struggling to clean these players out right now. We do get a pick onto the Ashe from Grim, which is nice, but I mean, there's not enough picks coming in here quickly. Drexel can still touch here, and it looks like Darling and Zodi HD will clean up. I'm glad they were able to get that done. Paige with the surprise 2-kill on the Pharah and the rezzing Mercy, which is important. Not only does the Mercy not get the res, but she also loses the cooldown. And so for the 30 seconds after she respawns, she won't have that res, which is important. Westchester getting a second chance here.
It was a very indecisive fight, but once they decided to make the necessary swaps, then they started getting things their way. When they decided to move forward and stop them from getting onto the point, from trickling on because they're all staggered. That's what allowed them to get through. We're going to see a window coming out here on the other side. Hopefully that's going to allow them to pepper the other team with damage. It baits out Immo. Tyre comes out, gets both Optimal Shot and Grandly. That might stop them in their tracks for now.
CB unable to protect his whole team. That Immortality field just isn't wide enough, and they were just spread enough that Junkrat Tyre was able to catch them. And Westchester picking up a bit of steam here. I'm glad to see it. If they can get these 2 picks, this will be another extra 10 seconds on that timer that they will have.
Just a complete flip from Westchester here. One moment they're letting the point go within seconds on the first point in the beginning of the match, and now they're doing their own complete domination, even ending the Pharah having her kill herself. This is an amazing showing from Westchester, completely understanding the assignment and doing exactly what they need to do, forcing ultimates out on the side of Drexel as they panic to try and make sure they can't touch, and it's all in vain as they immediately get point 2, adding more time to the clock.
That was a Zodi and Darling MVP second point there. Darling losing the mech, but killing the Pharah in the process of her ulting, throwing that mech into the Pharah who's static. She can't move. You use the boosters, you get up there, and that's exactly what they did. That's an excellent showing, but now we have swaps here off the Pharah. We're on a Hanzo. We're trying to keep the high grounds here. We're trying to fight the Widowmaker. Paige's job just got a lot more difficult.
Oh, and she's down. We see more sniper censured comps here. We also see a window go out, and it looks like we're going to start using ultimates again on the side of Westchester just to try and get things moving. We see a res go back on an Optimal Shot, so hopefully he can do some more damage. Drexel, for the time being, holding the corner very well, knowing not to push all the way up so that they get staggered out, but at the same time not allowing them enough space to actually push them back towards the cart. We see another Riptire online from Westchester. This may be able to do a lot of damage if they can keep their Junkrat up and out of the way.
Yeah, Zodi trying to zone these people off of the high grounds here, just like this D.Va here. That is the end of Junkrat. As soon as someone gets on a high ground above you, there's not much you can do. And because they were on the high ground, they're able to get the extra damage in. Drexel's pushing in here. A D.Va bomb could change this. It does not. Hitscan here using the Bob and cleaning up a couple players in the middle of that fight there is great. And we might see a bit of a stagger here on a Paige again. Looks like she might be getting out, and she does not. Hitscan hero again, being the Hitscan hero for Drexel.
Drexel just knowing when to pop certain ultimates is really what's helping them stay alive here, not pouring so many resources into a fight that it becomes lost after a time is really what's keeping them up. You'll notice that they have almost 4 ultimates online again, as opposed to 2 or 3 on the side of Westchester, which means they can be a little bit less picky. Tyre goes in for something, but immediately gets damaged, and the optimal shot ends up getting some kills with Dragon, and it's pretty much over for this push for Westchester. Such good amount of steam coming out of them, just immediately just negated by everything that Drexel is doing. They're finally finding their footing again.
I'd like to point out Jeff Goldblum in that last fight checkmated Zodi HD. Zodi HD pulls the tire, and Jeff Goldblum sees an opportunity to go in and either have the Junkrat throw the tire only on the D.Va or have the Junkrat die, and that's exactly what they chose, and it worked out for them very well. Paige getting the opening pick here, Jeff Goldblum trading. Anybody's match here so far, anybody's fight. Zodi with a bounce shot onto that Hanzo from long distance. Drexel struggling against this Junkrat. They struggled on second point, and now it seems to be the thing that is getting them off these high grounds. It seems to be the thing that is taking out their backline.
Once they can get rocking and rolling, getting Junkrat in the perfect position, Westchester really just bulks himself up. And oh my gosh, Ryan is off the side from an amazing rock play from Grim. That's going to get them so much more time. They end up staggering out Jeff Goldblum slightly as they just pour all of their resources right onto the point. They're marching right through. There's not a lot of time left, so we got to really be careful about what we do here. Immo gets baited out and immediately destroyed, and ultimates are flying left and right. We've got a huge shatter on Grim to revenge of the kill, and oh, Drexel just said absolutely not even letting them get a single little foot left, and that is it for us here.
Wow, that was a jarring last fight. There was so much back and forth. Drexel swung that fight back so quickly. The Reinhardt comes back, he charges in on a point, knocks some people around, shatters a couple players, and it's over. After all that work that Westchester did, they did a great job trying to pick up what they could do to fix what was wrong in Lijiang or Oasis. And so props to them. Congrats to Drexel A. I believe we're still doing best of threes. Then that is,
as far as I'm aware, yes.
That is Drexel A in grand finals. So after a short break, we'll be coming back with a interview with Drexel. So stay tuned.